Good morning. This morning on my regular beach walk, I had such an insight and I felt it was so important to share. You see, I've been chatting to someone that I love dearly, who is very close to me, has been in my life for a very long time. And in that chat, I came to the conclusion that the reason that person is feeling what they say is depressed and sad and unfulfilled is because they've given themselves a label. And you know how when we get something to assemble or something new in a form of clothing, we have to read the label. We have to identify what it is that we need to know on how to care for this thing, on what to do about this thing. And it's good and fine when it's that inanimate, but when it comes to us, we are so dynamic as human beings. And giving ourselves a label is the very thing that will keep us limited. So I'm wondering what kind of label you've given yourself. If you say that you're depressed or you're sad, what if you drop that label? What if you kind of stopped wearing that label like a post-it note on your forehead? Because that's what happens. You kind of walk around with that energy of the kind of person that you say you are. And that's never true, because it's so confusing when you realize that that's not really you. When you see that the thought that you have of what you think is you is creating the feeling. And in your confusion, you thought that the feeling you had was actually true. And when you come to the understanding that your feelings are simply the barometer of your thought, of your thinking about the situation, about you, about what's happening in your life, it's that much easier to drop that story. Years ago, when I was still with a wonderful spiritual teacher, and just I haven't been able to see him for quite a while, he had this incredible way of just disarming you when you spoke about all of the problems and the issues in your life. And what happened was I came to the lecture and the meditation one day a little bit late, and I had to sit right in front of him. And that was always a bit nerve-wracking because he had this powerful energy. And I was kind of like emotional, and he looked at me and he said, "And dear, what's your story?" And I blurbed out some kind of trivial issue. Now when I think about it, it was trivial. And he just laughed at me. And I felt completely unheard, and I wondered what was going on, and he just continued to carry on with his lecture and look at everyone else. And after a while, he turned back to me and he said, "Sharon," and I didn't even know that he knew my name. He said, "Sharon, just drop that shit." And in that moment, I felt a shift, but I still didn't understand it completely. And it was a while later, and it's now been years later, and I so appreciate what he said to me. In the present moment, right there and then, I could have dropped that story. I could have dropped that shit and things would have changed. And that's been my daily mission, is to just keep dropping the shit story that I constantly give myself. And we all do it. I still do it. But I catch myself. And that's the game changer. So if you keep telling yourself a story about why you can't do something, why you haven't done something, just drop that shit and get on with it. I hope that made some sense for you today. I hope it was valuable for you today. And usually I don't do these videos because I feel I've got to, get myself looking right. And this morning I was like, no, drop the shit of how you feel you need to look. Just share the story. Because if this person could just hear the story and drop that shit in the present moment, can you imagine the game changer, the life changer that might be? So I wish you well today. I hope you catch it before it kind of permeates into something way more than it really is. If you're labeling yourself and you're telling yourself some shitty story, go ahead and just drop that shit. Have a great day.